Okay, everyone. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time you're actually watching this. Okay, so this is going to be the recording for the Canva class. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing it this way is because it's going to be a technical class. Not everybody has experience with using Canva. Some don't even know it exists. Some have actually heard of Canva as a name, but they don't know how it functions. They don't know how it operates. Okay, and everybody has its own attention span when it comes to learning technical tools. Okay, so this is why we're going to be doing this among some other personal reasons. Okay, so today we'll be talking about Canva. Let me share my screen. All right, so our discussion today is going to go around Canva. Okay, so we're going to talk about the social media graphics, what it means, how you can use it, and don't forget to be doing a walkthrough on Canva itself. You know, you can actually create a lot of things on Canva. So this is the introduction, but we're going to be paying more attention to social media graphics in general and profile creation. Profile creation is actually very important to you as a virtual assistant. Now, in the general aspect of things, you would be using Canva to do a lot of work. Yes. So even I as a person, even though presently I have clients, but I don't have as much client as I used to. But anytime I want to do some particular task, I rather use Canva to do it because it has tools that I can use to do my task completely. You know, I wouldn't have to use 5 to 10 more tools before I can produce a document that I want to, produce. I can do everything within the interface of Canva. This is why it is very important. A lot of people, use it because of it. How versatile it is. Okay, so as a virtual assistant, I've always said this in class that you are your brand and your brand is you. So you should always try to do things that can promote your brand, which is yourself, and the kind of thing you do. So one of the ways you can do that is by creating a profile. And yes, you can actually use any third-party app to create a profile. Okay, you can decide to say, oh, I don't want to use Canva. Let me go to Play Store or App Store and download any of the graphic design tool there. Okay, so it could be trying to think of few. Maybe because of training, I'm going to remember a few. Okay, but there are actually many out there. But none of it actually compare to Canva, and that's because Canva improves almost all the time. Okay, they keep updating their elements, they keep updating their tools, like the app tools that is featured there. They have stock pictures that you can use, they have graphic pictures, you have the audios, you have a whole lot of tools just to complete a peculiar task. But if you want to compare it with other graphic tools that is out there, you'll find out that most of those tools, those apps, they don't update regularly. And you will find out that most of them, they don't have, good interface to connect with, to collaborate with. You always find something about them. Okay, so this is why I'm advising you. So as a virtual assistant, I'm advising you to use Canva. Okay, in fact, making it mandatory to you as a virtual assistant to use Canva. It's very important. So We're going to be talking about the professional profile creation. So I'm going to show you how you can do that on Canva. The structure. This is just going to be an introduction so that you can see how the old Canva interface looks like and how you can operate it. Now let's go into the topic for today. Okay, so we have an introduction to Canva. Now, what is Canva? So, like I said, a lot of people might not know what Canva is. A lot of people might have heard what Canva is, but don't know what it's for. So, I'm sure by the end of this training, you have idea of what Canva is used for and how you can use it. Okay, so we have some definition here. So, Canva is a browser-based design tool. Browser-based design tool, which means you probably connected to the internet all the time while using it. It's not something you can use offline. Okay, it's something that you can access through the browser, and of course they have apps, okay, which is also internet connected. So we can just say it's a browser-based design tool. Okay, so I'm not going to spend so much time discussing about these introductions because focus is going to be more on the creation aspect and the designing aspect of Canva. Okay, now it is used to create visual content without advanced graphic design skills. For those that don't have graphic design skills, yeah, you can use Canva. It's basic, but you can use it. Okay, so I remember somebody mentioned it in class at one point that would they be paying for tools to use in the course of this training? And I mentioned that there are some tools that you can use that is going to be for free, and there are some that you can use that it's paid for, and there are some that they have trial mode. I mentioned that during the course of this training. So it's also going to be like that in this section. So Canva have options for free, they have options for pro, they have options for team. And if you are a newbie to Canva, they would always give you a 30 days trial period. In fact, I think they even do that very frequently, because I remember one time when I did the subscription to Canva for the first time, they give me 30 days. And after the 30 days, I still paid for the subscription for a couple of months. Then I stopped the subscription. Then I think after 2 months, they gave me an offer again to that. I think they said they would give me for a whole year for half of the price. Okay, and it's relatively cheap. I think for the regular premium, it's just about 2,800. Yes, it's cheap. And if you're a virtual assistant that works with a lot of clients, 2,800 is not so much. Yeah, it's not so much. And I always tell my paid students that if you are a virtual assistant and you're working for a client, make sure that all the tools you are going to be using, the clients are paying for it also. Let it be part of the amount you're going to be charging them. So if you're charging them 100,000 naira per month, you can just try to include the maybe 3,000 naira for a tool that you're peculiarly using for them. So depending on the kind of work you're doing. So if you are using Canva for them only, you can try to charge, instead of the 100,000 naira, you can charge 103,000 naira. Okay, so these are part of how you can negotiate for your price, but make sure that your clients are paying for some of the tools that you are using for them. It's very, very important. Now, for virtual assistants, Canva serves as a productivity tool rather than a creative exercise. Okay, now we have the core value, which is speed, consistency, and professional presentation. In fact, if you use Canva for anything, it will always bring out this professional outlook. Yes, it always bring it out, especially if you use it the perfect way. All right, so we have Canva interface. If you can see the screen now, you can see that we have three different images on the screen. Okay, so the first one is the home dashboard. It includes your template, your recent designs, some of the features. If you want to create a new design, it includes, shortcuts to those points. Okay, it also includes like the search button. We're going to see a walkthrough on those things before we, go into this deeply. But this is what you're going to be seeing when you open your Canva. Okay, please let me see if my screen is still sharing. Okay, I think my screen is still sharing. All right, so the second one you're going to be seeing is the editor workspace, and this is where all the work, your design tools, your graphic design, this is where you add in elements, pictures, if you want to add music or audios, you want to add motions, you want to animate text. This is where all that magic, this is where it happened. The editor's workspace. Okay. Now, if you check the third one, we have the left panel tool. And this is where all those templates, those elements, those texts, those uploads, those brands, those apps, the backgrounds, this is where you have them. Okay, so we're going to see a walkthrough once we go into it. Now, a Canva creation list for a virtual assistant. Now, for you as a virtual assistant, you can use Canva to do a whole lot of things. Now, depending on the kind of virtual assistant services that you offer your clients, okay, but you can do certain things. In fact, you can practically do everything on Canva. Yeah, you can do everything on Canva. And here are some of the examples of what you can do with Canva as a virtual assistant. All right. So number one, we have the administrative and operations. So here we have the branded letterheads, we have invoices, you can write proposals, you can create meeting agendas, memo, you can create workflow diagram, timesheets, policy document. In fact, I can't remember how many times that I've created letterheaded papers, for clients, especially for new brands, new startup. I can't remember. I can't even count how many of them that I've actually created using Canva. When a lot of people would have actually preferred sophisticated platforms like Figma, like Adobe, or even Corel Draw, you know, it's very fast to use. Canva is very fast to use in that aspect. Okay, then you can also use it as a client and support and business support system for your clients. So here you can create welcome packs, you can create testimonial graphics, you can create cover page, follow-up documents, client report. You can create those kind of things also. Now, if you are the social media type, and you use social media virtual assistant that is dealing with maybe your client's social media, you can design carousels, quotes, graphics, story templates, profile covers. You can create LinkedIn banners. In fact, these are basic things that I've actually done, so I can attest to the fact that yes, you can actually create it. Okay, so and for those that is going to be in the technical kind of virtual assistant work, You can create posters, sales sheets, digital ads. You can even create what do they call this? Brand guidelines. Yes, you can create it for your client. Because you're a digital marketer and you're trying to promote a particular brand in a specific kind of way. You need to follow certain brand guidelines. These are where you can actually put all those things to use. Let me see if my screen is still sharing. Okay, now let's move on. So we also have others. So for email and communication, you can create signatures, newsletters, layouts, promotional emails. If you remember when I was taking email settings, I said you can actually create like a template. You can look for a template for email signatures on Canva. Yes, you can check for it. So you have it as template. So all you just need to do is look for a template, customize it, download it, and then upload it, to your email. So anytime you want to make a compose, okay, or you want to compose an email, the signature is going to be at the down part. So they can always see your picture, your information clearly designed, and expressed in a very professional way. Yeah, so it is very important. So you can do that with emails also. Then you can do I've actually created newsletter too using Canva. Okay, I designed it to see how it will look like on Canva, especially for my business. I use it a lot. So I create it on Canva and then I import it, to another third-party app that can process that app. Okay, so this is it. There's a lot of things that you might need to learn as a virtual assistant, but for some of the things that are very technical that you're going to be learning, it is very important that you take time to learn those things. Okay, you don't need to rush to say, oh, I need to learn how to do this. And no, virtual assistant work takes time. Okay, you learn on the job. So don't, and I've always said it in this class that don't see this class like a one place where all the knowledge of virtual assistant work will get dumped on you. No, just see it as a transition, see it as a process. This is the first stage that I need to, pass through in my virtual assistant training, in my virtual assistant journey. This is the first stage. So all these things are basic things that you need to know. So when you're now into the system, they are giving you tasks to do. This is where you start learning on the job. Okay. So another thing you can do on Canva is create presentations and training. So in fact, all the presentations that we present during this call, this training, they're all produced using Canva. Yes. So you can see how important that is in for a particular organization or a company. Okay, so it's very, very important. Now, for some of you that will be working with clients or teams in different organizations, you would be doing a lot of presentations. Is either you are making the presentation or you're creating the presentation or you're presenting the presentation itself. Okay. Now we have data visualization. This comes for those that works with data. Okay, so you can also use that as well. Event support, flyers, name tag. In fact, I've actually hosted an event where I created name tags. I created barcodes, that when people scan it, they would go it will switch to their camera. They can take pictures, and then the pictures get compiled in another interface. You can do all that using Canva. Now, content creation too, for there are content creation specialists, virtual assistants, you can do all that here, as well as the other things. Now, if you look at the far end, of your screen, you're going to be seeing personal branding for clients or self. You can see that this is very important. That is why it's here. So you can use Canva for your personal branding, either for your clients or for yourself. Okay, so for me, for example, my first virtual assistant job, was for clients that were not even in Nigeria, and they were starting out as executives. They already had their jobs, they've retired, and they were starting out as executive. Okay, so my job was to rebrand them in that image. So I had to make sure that I was creating some kind of impression that yes, they are executive, they have experience that promotes them as executives. Okay, so all the things I was doing then, Canva was part of the tool that I was using. So you can see how important Canva is. Now, ensure that all your work are personalized. Okay, anything you do on Canva, make sure that they are personalized. Templates are starting points, not final products. So don't just go to Canva and say, oh, somebody has already created a template for something that I want to use. Okay, maybe for example, the professional profile. If I should click on professional profile on Canva right now, I would see a lot of templates. Okay, so don't just say, oh, I will just download this template and then use it to promote myself. No, it doesn't work that way. Make sure that all your work are personalized. Okay, templates are just starting points, they are not the final product. Okay, now we're going to be starting with social media graphics, like I mentioned, Instagram and Facebook, and this is because it is the most used, the most asked for. If you're managing a client today, they will probably tell you that, oh, you have to manage my Instagram, my Facebook, or my LinkedIn. Yes, you would eventually meet something like that. In fact, I think a lot of people actually, a lot of virtual assistants, they have a lot of them start out as social media managers. Yes. Okay. So you're going to be facing a lot of, oh, create graphics for Instagram and Facebook. Now, it is very important that you clarify on your duties. I've said this before, but sometimes most of our workload, our responsibilities are always intertwined with one another. It's just like somebody employing you for a social media manager job, which entails you managing their social media platform. Then you get mixed up as a digital marketer and a content creator. These are different jobs, they are different responsibility, but everything is always tagged under social media manager. Okay, so whenever you're trying to vie for a job, make sure that you are clear on the kind of job you are doing. Okay, so but in a situation whereby you find yourself in this particular role, that's the social media role, and you're intending to manage these the graphics, you have been given the mandate to create graphics. Of course, you can always use Canva to do some of those functions. Now, the common formats for Instagram and Facebook is clearly, visible in Canva. You can immediately see it. Okay, and then and because it's so common, we have the Instagram post board, and we have the Facebook posts, we have the story. So the story sometimes comes as square. In fact, sometimes for the Instagram too, it comes as square. And then if you're dealing with maybe the story, that could come like what they call it. It has another pixel that they used for that too. Okay, so the design priorities also, make sure that you have clear messages of the design that you're going to be doing. It depends on the task that you've been given, but make sure that your graphics, has clear message. Okay, now don't go for graphics that has so many text that it is not explained. Okay, emphasize, in fact, use more of white spaces. Okay, I'm going to be teaching you what that means in the tutorial soon. But use more white spaces. Make sure that you have minimal text in your graphics. But that's the only way that people can quickly see, because the attention span on a graphics is just, I think, 5 seconds. Yes, I think that's the longest. Okay, a lot of people, once they say graphics, they already know what it's about, and they just scroll. So if you put in so many texts that they have to read, it will be very difficult, for somebody to quickly assimilate it and then do a call to action on that graphics. Okay, now strong visuals. Make sure your strong, increase this. Okay, so strong visual focus. Yeah, that's the next one. Then we have readable fonts. Okay, so don't put all your don't put things. For example, if you're trying to create a presentation right now for Instagram now, let's assume we are creating a carousel. Okay, and then it has to do with something that maybe your client is selling, maybe 50 is doing a 50 discount sales. Okay, and then you want to create a flyer in that angle. Use a font that shows the 50% discounts. Okay, for example, look at the heading here. Okay, so let me show you this heading, the social media graphics heading here. If you can see my cursor, you can see that it is well readable. Now, for some people, they won't be able to read. Okay, so if you are in that category, please don't do that. So always use a readable font for your graphics. Okay, now there's a clear distinction between a beautiful graphics or a design and intentional graphics. Yeah, there's a distinction between a beautiful design. Oh, it's like this design is so beautiful. And what an intentional graphics. Intentional graphics means you know what you want, the audience to feel when they see that graphics. Okay, so it's intentional. Now, if it requires explanation, if somebody sees a graphics and they still need an explanation from you who created it, that design has what? It has failed. It has failed. Yes, always put that in mind. In fact, put that quote me anywhere. Put that quote in your mind. Put it in the back of your book, at the back of your mind. Okay, if a graphics requires explanation, the design has failed, because a design should be what? Self-explanatory. All right, now avoid this certain thing. I've mentioned the fonts earlier, so don't use multiple fonts in one. You can actually use multiple fonts in one design, but make sure that the font you use is not something that is not readable. Okay, now mixing serif and decorative fonts. Some fonts does not complement each other. Yeah, there are some fonts that don't complement each other. Okay, so it's like you using Lato and then using Laura, they complement each other. But if you are using Amsterdam and you are using what other fonts is there, maybe Montserrat together, it might not go so well. You will see the list of fonts that Canva has. So we can explore more on that. Now, low construct text on busy background. So you might not understand what that means until when we go into the practical aspect. Now, using screenshots as final design. So so you can use screenshot, but make sure it's there are peculiar way you can use it. Now, if you look at the one that is above here, okay, so you can see that these are screenshotted, okay, to explain something, but it's not like the whole page has been filled with the screenshots. Okay, so this is what it means. This is what that statement means. So you can use screenshot, but don't use, okay, I can't, if I should make this screenshot, make it the whole of this page, then I put this Canva here, and you know, you won't be able to read anything. Okay, so that is what that means. Let me go back to my slide. Okay, so stretched or pixelated image. Okay, so don't stretch an image to the point that it is not recognizable anymore. Then avoid random icon usage without purpose. Okay, now center align everything by default. Don't do that. Inconsistent spacing and margin, don't do that. So Canva has now upgraded to point where it even gives you option to space align. Okay, I'll even show you how you can do all that in the tutorial we're going to be doing soon. Now, emojis as visual subtitles for design, so avoid doing that also. Copy pasting text block without hierarchy. Okay, now overusing effects. Now we have some effects on Canva. You would probably learn a little bit on how to use those effects. Now, the point of this training is to make sure that when you are using Canva, you are using it the right way. And like I mentioned, if you don't have um, task like over and over and over again, you won't even know that there are some tools that you can use. You know, if you combine this particular effect and you combine this particular icon, it will look very good on a design. Okay, so you might not entirely understand this whole process until you start making use of it. Okay, now let's go to the next one. So workflow discipline. Let me see if my screen is still sharing. Okay. Okay, I think it's good. Now, workflow discipline. Now, when you're working, okay, so follow this process. So workflow means like process. Okay. So clear process. For the design process, you should always define the purpose of what you're creating. Okay, so for example, we're going to be creating graphics on Instagram and on Facebook. Okay, and then we're going to be creating your professional profile. Okay, so these are important thing that I need to create. So it's a purpose. It's not just that I'm going to Canva and I'm just going to design something. No, have a purpose. So even if you are working on a proposal or a report, you just need to make sure that you have a purpose of how you're going to be working. Now, select appropriate templates. Now, templates, like I mentioned, are what? Starting points. Okay, so you can look for an appropriate template that you want to use. In fact, sometimes I use 2 templates to produce a unique work. Yes, if I see, oh, I like this template, I like the outlook, it will look good here. In fact, I already have a mental image on how it will look like in my design that I want to use. So I try as much as possible to take take idea from this template and take idea from that template and combine it in such a way that it makes my work look unique. Okay, so that is if I'm not starting from ground. Sometimes I start from scratch, okay, to make sure that my work is 100% unique also. Okay, so select appropriate templates. Now it's not like, oh, you're working with somebody that sells food, okay, but you are always looking at templates for people that sells shoe. Okay, it won't reflect because there's a pain point, there's a unique pain point behind graphics that is used for food. Okay, so I think there was a time I read it somewhere that a lot of people associate hunger with red and yellow. Okay, so this is why anytime food organizations or companies or eateries or they're trying to create like ads, they always use red, yellow because it stimulates the brain to know that yes, maybe it's hungry or something. Okay, so this is why some of them use it. Now, if I don't use that same logic and I'm using something different, something that doesn't relate, maybe it's blue, and blue is actually cool. It might reflect something else. I'm not entirely sure, but I hope you get what the way I'm driving at. So always use the appropriate template. Now, edit text and visuals. Like I mentioned, always personalize your work. Always personalize it. Check alignment and spacing. You're going to be learning that soon. Then export correctly. Now, when you're exporting for social media flyers that you're going to be designing, you should be using PNG because that's the highest format for flyers. Then for documents, profiles, okay, for document profiles, you're going to be using PDFs. Okay, so if you're not creating like slides, because you also have like a PowerPoint slide, but of course you can always convert to PDF. Okay, now some profiles like the one we're going to be creating today, you could use PDF as an export tool, or you use PNG. It works both way. Okay, so those of you that are going to be creating videos also, you can, of course, MP4 is the normal format. You just need to know if you're creating in 4K, in 2K, format. But MP4 is the standard for videos. Now, when you're naming your documents, make sure you name it clearly. You describe what that particular document is about and make sure that it's very professional. So some people always forget that when they are using a template, that template has a name. Okay, so they just automatically forget that that template has a name, and then they work on the template, they edit, they remove, things like that. And at the end of the day, when they save it, it downloads that the flyer or what the work they worked on, it downloads it, but the generic name of that template is going to be attached to that design. Now you can rename it on your laptop or maybe on your desktop. You can rename it, but trust me, if you check the properties, you will probably still see that name appearing. In fact, let me give you a gist. So there was a time somebody sent a proposal to me, to check, to help me, to let me know if there's anything that they need to add or to remove on that proposal. So I used my Adobe PDF to open that document. Okay, so I was checking the documents, and of course the name was actually okay. It I think it showed the name of the proposal. I think proposal to something. It showed the name. But when I checked the properties of that document, okay, it showed the name of the template that was used to design that proposal. Okay, so before you download it, before you download that proposal, that document you've been creating, that flyer, make sure you change the name directly on Canva first. Okay, before you download it on your system for sharing. It is very important. Okay, so that makes your work professional. So we'll be doing a live walkthrough now. Okay. I would see if I can do the tutorial now, and then come back to this slide to show you the task for the day. Okay, so give me a minute. Let me share my screen. All right, so welcome to Canva. Welcome to Canva. So when you go to www.canva.com with your laptop, okay, your system, your desktop or your laptop, this is what you will probably see. Yes, in fact, not probably, this is exactly what you will see. So apart from the fact that if you don't have an account with them, it will put you through the account process, but immediately you are logged in to Canva, this is what you're going to be seeing. So please, in the course of this training, I want you to always pay attention to my cursor. This is very, very important, because sometimes I might be fast to click on something, it's just natural for me to know where I'm going to, I want to pick on something. I just instantly, I just click on it. Okay, but for you that you don't actually know how it works, it might be very difficult for you to catch up. So this is why I'm doing this recording, because you can always go back to rewatch to see what I click, but always pay attention to my cursor. So it's very, very important. Okay, so welcome to Canva. So here, like you saw on my slides, this is what you meet when you enter Canva. Now, this particular account I'm using is it has the free version. You can see at the end here, it said start your trial for €0. Okay, so this particular account too has somebody that shared its premium version with them. So if you have somebody that shares a premium version with you, you can always find that here. So in the course of this training, we're going to be doing the free aspects and then the premium aspect, so that you can see that while Canva is actually good on both ends, that you can use it for free, okay, it will be more convenient for you um to use the premium version. So for those of you that are complaining that, oh, you don't have any money to spend on, Canva, you can use the free version, but it's going to be very tedious. Okay, so I won't want to lie to you that and say, oh, okay, once you click on this, you click on this. But on your own end, it will be telling you that, oh, this feature you're using is premium. Okay, so we are going to see if we can try something out with the free version, and then we can try something out with the paid version, so that you see that, oh, it's actually more easier, more convenient for you as a paid virtual assistant. Okay, so because it's not the end of this training is not that you keep all the skills to yourself. We want you to make money using those skills. okay, be economically independent. You know, this is why we're taking you through all this training. So here we have the menu. I can call it the menu because it has different how do I call it, functions. Let me call it functions. Okay, so now we have the create, which means you can automatically create a flyer, a document, anything you want to create. You can click here and it should take you to somewhere to create something. Okay, then we have the home where we are currently. We have projects. So if you want peculiar project, if you're working on peculiar projects and you want to build a folder for it, you can come here to click on it. So imagine if you're working with 5 different clients as a virtual assistant and you don't want to mix their work. Okay, you can just create folders, for those clients so that their work are going to be inside a folder. See, the best thing for you as a virtual assistant is to be very organized with your work. Okay, so it will help you in the long run. So if you are the type that you are very scattered, please learn how to be organized. It's going to help you. In fact, it's going to help you a lot in your work. It's going to help you. Okay, so in my own paid class for my students, I take time to teach them about organizational skills. Okay, so know how to be organized, especially with folders, with documents. It's very, very important. Now we have template here. We also have the template here also. So it's the same thing. Then we have brand. So if you're working with if you're working with somebody like maybe a client that has their color codes, their typographies, the icons they use. Okay, so everything includes, you can add those functions here. But as you can see, we have a crown at this point here, which means you can only use this feature if you're using the premium feature. Okay, then we have Canva AI. Of course, this is going to be very limited to what you can do also. Then we have other options here. Okay, here we have the apps, we have Grow, Content Planner, Design School. Design School will put you through how to use Canva. So if at all you watch this training and you're not okay with what you've learned, you can always come to this point to learn more. It will give you videos, put you through tutorials that you can learn using Canva. Then we have you can see the bell here. This is notification bell. Then you have your account. This is where you can access your account. Okay, your settings, everything. Let me toggle this off. You have your account here. Now, like I mentioned, I'm trying to put you through all the interface so you're familiar with this environment. So if you want to search for a template, a design, and you can always look for those information. Where's my cursor? Okay, this is my cursor. So you can see it's showing here. So this is where the search button is. You can search for anything that you want to search for. Now here you have quick, let me say quick creation. Yes, let me use quick creation because in fact the things you see here are the most used on Canva. This is why it is placed here, because maybe Canva have already figured it out that a lot of people use these tools, so they put it here as a quick link to them. So here you can find presentation. If you want to create a presentation, just like my slides and all, you can quickly come here. If you click on it, it will take you to your editor mode, okay, where you can create a presentation. Now, if you click on social media, you're going to be seeing all. In fact, let me just click it now so that you see what it brings out. Okay, that should be my network. Okay, should be coming up soon. Okay, sorry, that should be my network. It's been a while that I opened the interface. So once you click on that social media, you can see that everything relating to social media is what is here. Okay, I think it's drizzling outside, so I think the rain or weather might be affecting my network. Okay, so you can see we have Instagram posts, we have Facebook posts, we have Instagram story, Facebook cover, we have, let me see, Instagram reels, we have TikTok, YouTube thumbnail, and we have Twitter or X posts, the background picture, you short, you have, thing that relates to social media. And then if you scroll down, you will see popular templates that a lot of people use to create design, create, content. You see template a lot. So you can see how versatile it would be for you as a virtual assistant to make use of this application. This is why Canva is always an integral part of virtual assistant work. Okay, so let's go back to the home screen. Okay, now we have the video, of course. If you want to create a video, so you can still see more. So if I should click on it, it should give me everything that entails a video. Okay, anything that can create a video for me, it will show me, like the video, the landscape, Instagram story, mobile video, screen recording, Facebook video, Instagram reel, TikTok videos, YouTube short. It's anything that deals with video, it will show me. And of course, I have templates that will guide me, or that I can, personalize to create something. Okay, so for all those people, if you notice, if you go online sometimes, you find out that a lot of people have faceless reels, faceless videos. This is where most of them start. Okay, this is where some of them create those reels and then they upload it online. As simple as that. Okay, so the doc. So for those of you that are going to be creating documents, I hope my okay, it's still sharing. Okay, so we have the doc, we have the whiteboard, we have the sheets, we have website. Yes, you can also create a website using Canva. Okay, but it's quite limiting because it doesn't guarantee SEO functions. Okay, it's just like a view thing for websites. So I know of somebody who went through an interview phase, and they asked the person to create a website for them, like to show them if they can, like if that person can work, to know if that person can work for them. And they told the person to explicitly use Canva to do it. because it doesn't have any effect, but it can actually show them that, oh, this person they're interviewing can build a website. He knows how to combine colors, how to combine text, things like that. So you can use Canva to do all those demo instructions. Okay, so we have the email that you can also use too. Remember when I said you can use this signatures, you can do all that here. Then you can also edit your photos. And so these are some of the things that a lot of people use Canva for. This is why they are highlighted here. Okay, now there are some graphic designers, okay, that are very peculiar about the kind of pixels, the kind of size of their graphics. Okay, so for you as a virtual assistant, you might also work with this because there are points where you might need to customize your graphics to a peculiar size. Okay, so this is where that will work. Okay, now we have the upload function where you upload external documents or images, upload them to your Canva. I think for Canva, I think the basic one gives you up to maybe 10 gig of space, I think. But I know for the fact that the premium version gives you 100 gig, and then for the team version, they give you like 500 gig or so. Yeah, so that is that. So anything you want to use those space for, you can always use it to do it. Now, the side of it is that the more you use it, the more space that Zoom, okay, and then you might find out that, oh, my Canva is slow. Okay, so just like this account that I'm using, I have so many designs because it's shared Canva. Me and one of my friends are using this Canva. So it's a shared Canva. So we have a lot of designs. If you look at it, we have, and this is just the free mode. If I show you the premium mode, you will see a lot of designs there. Okay, so this is how Canva works. This is the introduction to the Canva. I hope everybody understands this to this point. Okay, so if you rewatch it if you don't understand. Now let's go into the editor's mode. Now remember I told you that we're going to be working with Instagram pictures, like Instagram flyers and Facebook flyers. So if I want to start with that, I need to come to this social media, like just like I showed you earlier. Okay, I need to, but peradventure, you know, I don't want to start here. Okay, I want to start with a template. Maybe I want to design some, just like the food that I was talking about. So we're going to use the food as an example for the social Instagram and Facebook flyer. So if I come here, it's going to tell me to choose what I want to do, right? So if I click here, let me click it again. Okay, so it's asking me to either use like the Instagram post, Facebook post, story post, stuff like that, right? It's going to ask me to do this. Okay, so if it's Instagram I want to design, I can just click post, right? Okay, but let's assume I don't want to do this. Okay, I want to design a food promotion or food ad flyer. Okay, so I just need to come and search for it because I want to see the kind of template, the kind of options I will have to create like that. So type okay. So let me just click on enter. So you give it a minute. Now, if you know it's already searched for something, but it only searched my design. So if you look at here, you are going to be seeing my design and it's still toggled on. but I need to look for templates, right? So I just need to come to template and click on it, okay, so that it can reload the kind of template that falls under this food ad promotion. Okay, so yeah, so here we have food ad promotions. We have design, we have graphic. Now I would have asked, you can tell me what was peculiar or what is peculiar in all these flyers you're seeing, but I'll tell you. Okay, so you can see that almost all of them use an element of red. Okay, they use some element of red and yellow because yes, just red or yellow. That oh, red and yellow has when it comes to food. Okay, so exactly what it means. So of template, we have a lot of we have different modes of how to use them. Perspective is okay, so you can see that this follows this. This is like a banner. This is like this is also like a banner, but it's a little bit smaller than this one. This one is a bit longer. You can see my cursor. Always, please, always use see my cursor. Always check it, look for it. So this is the one I'm talking about. You can see it's longer, and this one that normal flyers. They look like normal graphic designs. So now it depends on what you want to do for that client. Okay, so don't always assume that, oh, I want to create a post, so I have an Instagram size. Okay, so sometimes on Instagram you see some graphics that are not in that particular you know pixel for that is dedicated Instagram. You wanna see you might see a trifold. Yes, you might see something like a trifold. Okay, so don't always assume that, oh, because I said I want to design something on Instagram or Facebook, I should use the dedicated templates for those platforms. So it depends on what you want to use it for. Okay, so but in this case now we want to design a food ad promotion. Okay, so this one looks okay, this one looks okay also. So this one, okay, let me I think that one. So this one looks better, so let me click on this. So once I click on it, it's going to bring out this particular interface, but I want you to pay attention to this now. Now, remember I told you that there is distribution. Now, it's one of these, I um, can't just click on any ads or any flyers and say I want to edit it. No, I have to look for one that doesn't have. Now, if I put my my cursor on this I want to see if you can see it. Yeah, it's saying upgrade to Canva Business to use this premium template. Okay, so which means I can't use this, or I can't use some elements that was used, in this design. Okay, so I have to close it. Yeah, and then look for another one. So where you can quickly know that, oh, this particular flyer or template I want to use is premium, is if you look at the bottom right hand side, you're going to be seeing that symbol too. So for this one, it doesn't have. For this one, it doesn't have for this also. So for the first 5 here, it doesn't have. But if you look at this one here, it has. Okay, you can see that they are all premium too. They used premium elements and assets. So I won't be able to use any of those the best way I want to use it. Okay, so I can just, let me pick something else. Okay, let me pick this. Okay, but this one has it has animation, so I don't want to teach you that now. Okay, so let me use this. Okay, so let me create this. Let me customize this rather. Okay, so if you notice, we have other options here, but you can see I would have loved to use this one also, but you can see that it is premium. Okay, so this is where your investment in Canva would save you a lot of time. So instead of me looking for a template that is free, I can just easily pick one. Okay, but I'll have to, because I'm using the free version, I'll have to look for the one that is also free that I can use. And if you notice, the free one and the paid one, you can see that there's quite a huge difference between the two. While this one look a bit odd, this one looks very unique. The design, the layout, and everything. It looks, in fact, even the font that was used, it looks different. It looks good. Now compared to this one, where it looks very generic. Okay, so, but let's assume I want to, create this. I can just click on customize, and it should open another tab for me to edit. Now, where I'm going to be editing on is where we called the editors mode. Okay, so where I'm going to be editing all this is the editors mode, just like I mentioned in my slide. Okay, so it's still loading. Okay, so it's just about loading. So if you notice, we have our editor space here, and then we have where all our tools, this is where all our this is where they reside. Okay, so I want to take my time to introduce all this section, because from tomorrow it's just going to show you how to pick and design the layout and do all those stuff. But for now, I want you to be very familiar with all this space so that you can quickly grasp it. Now, I was using my touchpad on my laptop before, but now I have to switch to my mouse because it's more convenient for me. Okay, so I want to customize this now. Now you can see that this is a design, a template design. Now, the first thing I might want to do is, because I might make some changes to this to this that might eventually affect how this design looks like right now. So let me just quickly duplicate this page so that I have it in two, so that I can always come back to this design to see if there's anything I need to add or attach, things like that. For this peculiar design, it is very okay as it is right now. I just need to customize it, put my brand name, then if I want to change this food images, I can, or maybe I can add rice and beans here with stew. I can add dodo here. I can add beans here, Nigerian food. Okay, so but the purpose of time, let me leave it as it is. So we are still doing Chinese food. Okay, so I just need to change like the brand assets and whatnot. So let's assume my brand is not using this red. You can see that we have red as the, or let me say wine, as the outstanding color. But let's say my brand is using maybe gold. Yeah, let me say they are using, so instead of this yellow, they are using gold. Okay, and instead of maybe red, they are using black. Okay, so I can easily decide to change this. Okay, so I just need to come to this point, okay, and click on it, don't forget, and pick black. Okay, so you can see that it has made that changes here. And because this is a Korean delicacy, you can see that we have chopsticks at the end here. So deleting it would look odd, unless maybe when I'm changing this food. But so the chopsticks still remain. If not, I would have said let me delete it. Okay, so here I can change this this yellow looking like. Okay, so I can change it to gold. So if you can't find gold here, you just need to type it. Let me just type gold. Okay, so we have sunshine gold and we have golden brown. So let me just use sunshine gold. Okay, so this is, let's say this is what the brand that I'm using, this is what they do, this is what they use. Okay, so I can use something like this. Okay, now your design can come in different angles, but remember we started with a template. So if I'm building it from scratch, it might not look like this. Okay, it might look something entirely else. Okay, so in some situations you can decide to make all this maybe in a circle, then make all the food line up under the circle. Let me show you. This might be a bit fast. Okay, so you can say I duplicated this again, so that in case what I have in my mind doesn't work, I can always come back to this design. Okay, and if this one that I'm doing doesn't work, I can always come back to this one. Now, if at the end of the day I don't like this, I can always come back to design here and choose another template. Okay, but the template I'm going to choose again has to be what? Has to be something that is free or something that I can use. Okay, so now when I click on templates now, I saw that, oh, there are some templates here that's actually more better than this. I can decide to change it immediately. Okay, so always make your research first. Okay, know what you want to do. You see where that know what you want to do, where it comes in, because you get confused when you start designing, because there are different layouts, different fonts, different outlook you would get when you're working with Canva. And another thing you also need to know is that you might see this design now on this screen, I might say, oh, this is good, this is beautiful. But by the time you check it on your phone, it will look odd. Okay, so that's another thing you also need to know. Okay, so always have that eye projection that, oh, how will this look like on my phone? Okay, will it look nice? Will it look good? Will the audience connect more with it? Those are the questions you would like to ask yourself. So for the other one that I was talking about, so I just need to, reduce this. Okay, so I'm trying, I can create another kind of design. This design. Now you see that I've reduced everything to a minimum. Okay, I've reduced it compared to what we have here, and that's because I want to try out something else. So here, I can just decide to let me take it from this end. Okay, so I can group this. I can duplicate this. Okay, so I can rotate it. Let me see if I can rotate it. Okay, let's use 180 degree. Okay, then move it to the left hand side here. Okay, so you can see that this is forming another unique design. So I can do the rest also like that, depending on what, fits in what you want to do. But then you have to look at the layout. You have to look at the layout here. Please give me a moment. Okay, so you can see that this is forming another design on its own. Yeah, so if you want to take it further, maybe create this as a circle. Okay, but of course you can see that it's changing the outlook of how the design started out as. Okay, so let me see. Now this is a very terrible design, I must I must not lie. So don't do this in the general aspect of things. So but just try this out. Okay, try this out as a design. um, okay, so this was another thing that I wanted to try out. Okay, so I can just make all this information here. I can put it within the circle, just rearrange it to fill in this circle, so that when anybody sees it, and then maybe this red, this black, I can just in fact change it to red at the end of the day to make it pop out more, because I feel that red popped it out. Okay, okay, let me see white. Okay, so this white also looks good. Yes, I think I prefer the white now. So let me use the white, and then let's use, let me see the red here. Okay, so the red might work in the middle, and then we can change this one to gold. That's the text color. Change it to gold. Okay, so you can see how this works now. So it looks like a table, a Chinese table. Okay, so I can make this to the customization. So if I do this and my clients like it, I just need to include their name, put add more features like maybe the address, where to contact, then I can put maybe 50% off. I would like to do, let me see if I can do all that now. Okay, so let me add 50%. Okay, so instead of off, let me put discounts. Okay. So you can see that by default it is white. So let me just change this to another color. Let me put red. Okay. So, and the font, you can see that it's on the Canva font. So this was where I was talking about, that you can have different kind of fonts on Canva. So some of them are premium for that you have to pay for it, while some are free. So let me see how this one looks like. So you can see that this particular font was the one they used for here. Okay, so this is why it is coming out in this top 3. Okay, so imagine if I put this here, because it is something that is commonly used. Okay, and add other informations. For example, these chopsticks, I can make it more bigger, depending on the kind of thing you want to design using the Canva. So is either you choose something like this, okay, or you choose something like this or like this, whatever works for you or what you want to project for your client. But it is very easy to just design something. That is the purpose of this training now. That is very easy for you to design something using Canva. Of course, I can immediately just, download this right now, on and post it on my Instagram, that so brand is selling Chinese rice, or Chinese food rather, because we have noodles, we have rice there. Okay, so they are selling for 50% discount. Okay, order now, maybe link in bio or something, or click on this image. Okay, so it's very easy for me to just download this now and share it. Okay, but don't forget that to change the name here. So this is where you change the name. So you can just name it something relating to what the brand is about. So if this is Bella's Food, so you can just save it as Bella Food. You can put maybe an underscore, just put ads, okay, or promotion, depending on whatever you want, and then you leave it. You click outside, it automatically save, and then you can share it. Now, don't forget that I have three page here, but I only want to download the first one. Okay, so I just need to come to this download, click on it, come to this point. If you see, you can see that it's suggesting PNG here. Okay, so that's good. So click on the page. Okay, so I'm currently on the first page, so you just click on it, or you click on the individual page you want to download here, and you click done. Okay, and then you click download. It automatically downloads this access for you that you can save on on your system, that you can upload online, but we are not going to be doing that now. Okay, so now another thing you need to note is that instead of you downloading this flyer, because it's now a flyer design now, you can instead share it with your client so that your client sees it. If there's any adjustments, if you're saying, oh, I don't like this red, our color is gold, change it to gold. And this background, change it to red. You can always add that effect. So instead of you just downloading it, sending it to your client, then coming back to edit, you can give the client access to it, by clicking the name here. Okay. Or you give your clients, let me see, you can give your client a link to join, to view this design. Okay, you can give it a link to view it. Now you can also post it directly to your Instagram, like you can see here. Okay, or Facebook, and you can see some meta ads functions here. We also have more. So if you click on more, you can see that you can send to your phone. If your phone is connected to this, it will send to your phone. Okay, you can send to your website if you have one. You can send to your Google Drive if it's saved. Okay, PowerPoint, Dropbox. You can send to your YouTube. YouTube now, you can now make a post on YouTube. Yeah, you can send it there too. So if it's connected to your WhatsApp, your email, your iMail, Facebook, you can do what? Send it to those platforms. So it's not just about downloading it. You have different options, to share. So that is another advantage of using Canva. Okay, so now let's go back and look for our professional profile. Remember, we want to build a professional profile for yourself as virtual assistant. Now, you're going to be seeing a lot of options here. Okay, so let me just write profile. Okay, so you can now see here. Sorry, I'm sharing the wrong slide. Okay, so you just need to click on profile. So I just type in profile here and clicked enter. So I'm seeing all profiles relating to virtual assistant, normal profile, portfolio. You can see about me here. You can see company profile. You can see my profile. You can see okay, you can see my portfolio. So even when we are going to be taking our portfolio class, okay, we're going to be using some of these features also. Okay, you can see company profile. Company profile is actually much because a lot of people use Canva to build their company profile. In fact, I use Canva to build my company profile as well. But individual profiles, you can also use that as well. Now, as a virtual assistant, you want to build a profile that showcase yourself. Okay, something introductory. Okay, so you can, we have some options here. You can see that here is one. Okay, so you can use this one. This one is good, but you can see that it has a play mode, which means there is animations embedded in it. Okay, and you have this one. This one is also good. In fact, I've used this for, I think, during one of my students tutorial. I've used this for them. Okay, so this one is also good. You can also use this, but this is a slide. Okay, you can also use this. Now if you see that, oh, this is good, but it is a slide, you can just click on maybe the first or the second one if you know it's okay, and then use it. Okay, but you have to pay attention to the fact that it also has premium features, premium assets on it. Okay, so look at this one too. So anyone that a profile in the general aspect of things is just your picture, okay, your name boldly written, and what you do. And then in some cases, you can add in maybe a contact or a contact information, like your email or your phone number or something. Or maybe what's the closest thing? Maybe your Calendly, something like that. This is what a professional profile entails. But for the course of this training, we're just going to stick with a professional picture or profile that has your picture, that has your name, that has what you do. So what you do is an executive what? Virtual assistant. You have your name, then the kind of virtual assistants that you do. I help companies, or I help professionals, or I help teams, you know, in administrative duty, or just like what Miss Temi said in a training, that oh, I help teams or I help clients, you know, with traveling plans, or with premium traveling planning, you know, something like that. You know, this is where your professional profile comes in. So let's design one. So let's use this one because this is free. You can see it has all the elements for a free profile. So let's click on it. Now, if you check on more options, you will see that we have a lot of, okay, look at, we even have, so once we click on one, it gives you option to see a lot more. Okay, so this is another one that looks unique. This is another one that looks unique, but you can see it's for premium. We have premium assets here. Okay, so this is free. You can see this one. So you can also edit something like this. Okay, so let's just stick with the one that we want to use. So let's just customize it. Don't forget, you go to customize this template and then you click on it. Now, don't forget that a template is what? Is your starting point. Okay, look for the one that align best with you. Okay, then, you know, personalize it. Always personalize your template. So let's share the okay. So okay, so we have our template here. Okay, it's still loading some of the assets at the left hand side here. So let's just wait few seconds for it to do that. Okay, so we have our template ready. Now, if you notice, we have this square showing on our screen. This is what we call the margin. Okay, you can access that margin if you go to the file section up here at the top heading here. You can see the file. So if you click on it, you go to settings, you can see show margin. Now, a lot of advanced virtual assistants, virtual graphic designer, you know, they use this to make sure that their images, their letters and everything are all aligned. So I would advise to use it. And in some situation, it might be toggled off, just like this. So all you need to do is do what? Come here to toggle it on. Okay, so toggle it on. So generically, if you look at it, you will notice that all the letters, you see, they are aligned, they are within inside this box. The only thing that is outside is what? The image. Okay, so generally, this is a good design. Okay, let me increase this. Okay, so generally, this is a good design. Juliana Silva, she's a business consultant. Probably this is a brand, maybe or this is the company she works for. So depending on, you know, why she built this in the first place. And you can see that we have a generic email here. I'm sorry, website here. So maybe this is where you can reach her from. Okay, so you can put that here. Now I think on Thursday we are going to be teaching you how to use a blogspot, so you can have like a customized email website that showcase your portfolio. Okay, we are going to have that, so you can add a link, something like that here. Okay, so let's just customize this. Now I don't like this black, even though I like black, but I don't want to use this black, so let me use another color. Now if you notice, we have two different assets here. We have this asset, which if you check the color, it's black with transparent white. And then we have this one. Okay, so I think this one is this is another color. Okay, this is the image. Okay, this is the image of the lady. Okay, now another thing you need to note when you're using Canva is the position. Okay, in fact, I got to learn this late. Okay, when I was starting out as a graphic designer, I got to know about this stuff late. Okay, so you can click on position. It will bring out this for you, so you might be confused if you are saying this. Okay, but you need to come to this layer. Okay, so when you click on layer, every single brand asset that is on this design, you can access them here. You can see that as I'm scrolling on it here, it's reflecting here. Okay, so let's start with the image. So let's say I want to replace this image now, or I want to delete it. Let me see if I have any image in my okay. So let me see if I can use this. I hope my friends permit me to use this. Okay, so let me use this. This looks a little bit professional. So please, if you don't have a professional picture, you can quickly generate one, okay, using Google Gemini. Okay, so just take any of your professional or just take any of your general pictures, take it to Google Gemini. Remember I told you about Google Gemini? Okay, so put it there, tell it to change probably your attire, or just change the picture itself, change it to a professional looking picture without changing your face. It will do that for you. Okay, so let's change that image. Let's put this one. Okay, so let's put this one. So here now you can see that this particular picture has a background, and I would probably need to remove this background to use it here. Now to remove the background here is what you have to use premium version. So before you even bring in any of your templates here, assuming you are using a free mode, before you bring in this picture, make sure you take it to bg.remove or any of the online background removing tool to remove the background of this picture first, before you do what? Before you upload it. Because by the time you upload it here, it will look exactly as you uploaded it, and you won't be able to do what? To remove the background so that the picture remains. So if I use this as a background, if I set it as the background image now, let's see the effect. So let me come to my position back. You can see that the picture is at the background now. Okay, is at the background, but something is blocking it off. Okay, so we have these three blocking it off. So let me delete them. So I just need to right click, delete, right click, delete, right click, delete. Okay, so you can see this is what we have, and it brought its own background with it. This doesn't look professional enough. This doesn't look professional in all aspect of things. It doesn't look it. Okay, so we can't use it. We need to remove either the background or remove we resize the image itself. So let me detach this. Okay, now it means I have to remove the background here, but I don't have the luxury of doing that now. So what can I do? Okay, so I need to, let me put this as black. You can see we have the white background, so let me make it black. Okay, so we have it black back. Then I can introduce this as a frame, though it won't actually look professional still, but let me just bring in a frame. So come to elements here. Okay, you can see frames. You can see frames here. So let me click on frame and choose a particular frame. So I could have used maybe the normal circle frame or square frame, but let me see if I can use this. That's the first one that's open, so I wouldn't want to waste our time on this tutorial. So you can see that we've added this as a frame. Okay, so I think I can decide to make this frame maybe black. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this doesn't still look good, but because of we are working with what we have right now, this is why we are using it. Okay, so if you are designing your own, please don't use this format. Design your own perfectly. I think it's even good that I'm showing you that you can make a lot of mistakes while doing it. Okay, so that when you are doing your own, you know how to do it perfectly. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so this doesn't still look good, so let me just choose another frame, because this one has this peel effect. So let me use this one. Okay, so I need to detach this image first. Remember, always right click to see more information. Okay, so I delete this one. Okay, so this looks better. Okay, this looks better. Now don't forget that this margin is just here. Okay, when you download this image, it's not going to show. Okay, so you might as well just increase this, you might as well increase it. Might be more than this. You might take it outside the margin if you're comfortable with that. I'm only using the margin because it's projecting, where the spillover is, I can see those changes myself. But you can see that this picture itself is the one that is not making this design fine. Okay, so how you want to design, it should be very intentional about it. Okay, so at the end of the day, I would probably delete this picture because it's not showing what I want it to show. So let's delete the picture first. Let's work with what we have here. So I can decide to let's retain this Juliana Silva, and then let's add executive virtual assistant here. So okay, so if you notice, this particular text is justified. It is, the alignment is justified. So I just need to either right click it or make it in the middle or the end, or I just spread it out just like it is, like this now. So this way is better. Okay. So Juliana Silva is what? A virtual assistant. Is what? An executive virtual assistant that helps teams make premium traveling what do they call that again? Itineraries. Okay, so this is what she does. She's an executive virtual assistant that helps teams, make premium traveling itineraries. Okay, so you can use, so based on what your virtual assistant work is all about, like I asked you on the first day. Okay, so use that narration, like I mentioned, always you can use AI. Don't be shy about using it. Tell AI to craft in a short bio for you that you can use. So you can use something like this, or you can, craft out something that fits into, what you want to do. Okay, so this is not relevant to our design. Okay, so let's just delete it. Okay, so I can decide to increase this a little bit more. And then delete this website, because of course we don't have a website, but it would have been more preferable if you have a website or some place that they can actually reach you on. Okay, so if you have, or if you want to attach it, you can just probably put it at the lower part here. You can move this up a bit. Okay, and put it at the lower part here. Don't forget that this box is what? Is only the margin. When you want to download it, it's not going to show. Okay, so you can still add more things here. Don't just say, oh, I've passed the box. No, you can still add a lot of things there. So let's look for an image that we can use. Now, before I use that image, we can also design this background. We can add more pictures, more colors rather. If you notice, we have this symbol here, this black, we have something inside it. So once you click on it, it means you can make this particular background, you can add more colors to it. Okay, so, and you can only do that by coming to this gradient aspect. So when you click on it, it will show you how you can, create two colors, that, in fact, more than two. So for more than two, you can just click on this button here, add another gradient color. So I can decide to make this yellow. Okay, can decide to make it any color that I want. Okay, so either you use white or this color, and then you can always move. You can probably move this to the middle or to the beginning, depending on how you want it. Okay, so you can see how it's affecting as the background. So, but this is not relevant to the design right now, so we can just stick to this white and black. Remember when we started, we were using white and black, but those white and black came in form of elements as for assets. Okay, you can check for those here at the elements here. Okay, so when you click on elements here and then you type transparent background. Okay, Okay, you can see transparent backgrounds, transparent greetings, transparent box. Okay, so let me use transparent background. Okay, so you can see some of the assets that was used in our original picture. So if I click on this now, you can see that I can add it to the design. Okay, so this is what that means. Okay, so you can see that we have different ways to work around anything we want to do here. So the last thing we need to do is just to add the image. Now remember, we are following the original template. Okay, so in your own aspect, you can either choose maybe a white, okay, background. If you don't like this black, you can decide to just change this to white. Okay, then make all your text, make it black. Okay, so you can decide to do this. Okay, so your picture would come last. So let's look for a picture. I hope, let me see if my friend has a picture here. In fact, there's no picture that you probably use here that you would not want to remove the background. Okay, so this is where the premium version is actually good. This is where it comes in handy. So let me see. Okay, I would have used this because it follows that black thing. So let me see if I can. Okay, so this is one. So this looks good even without editing so much. But of course, this doesn't really look professional enough, but it's still manageable for this tutorial. So we can decide to, since we are using something like this, let's change this back to white. Or let me even use gold. I think gold will look better. Okay, let's use something brighter. Okay. Now I can also add this as I can add effects to this. I just need to come to this effects here. Give it a good outline. Okay, so you can see the changes in the outline. So I can decide to increase this to be thicker. Okay, depending on what I want for it to work. Okay, so this is okay for now. For the purpose of this training, this is okay. Okay, so there are intensive way you can actually design this that would come out better. Don't forget, the template we used was a starting point. Okay, we personalized it to this point. Okay, so if you don't want to use this left angle, of course, you can always move them to the right. Okay, but if you're using this, use this margin for the purpose of this training. Use this margin because it will help you align some of your text, your assets, to help you align it. Now, if you want to add in more information, let's say I just want this person's face to show, or I just want to crop this picture in the perfect way. So I just need to come to this smart crop. Let's see what the AI will suggest. So this is the smart crop for this picture. So let me click on done to see how it will look like. Okay, so this is what it's showing. Okay, so this is also good. This is also good. But you can see it's showing a lot of skin, doesn't really look professional as a virtual assistant. So please don't use something like this. Always wear something corporate. So unless maybe you're a fashionista, just like this person, but of course, for the course of this training, this is good. Okay, so always use the steps that I've shown you to create a profile. You can use it to create a profile. So in your own, in fact, I want to see what people will come up with for their profile, their professional profile. Be creative about it. Show me what you can actually do. Now, don't forget to change the name here. So we can just use Juliana, okay, underscore Sylvia, okay. Then I use profile. Let me just add profile to this, okay. So everybody should save their profile name. Everybody should save it in this format. Okay, save it in this file. You're going to see it in the next thing I'm going to show you now. Save it in this format. Either your name, your first name, and profile. Okay, then download it and send it to the group. So this is your assignment. So let me go back to our slide. Okay, so this is our slide. So we're through with the walkthrough. Still, you spent more than 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes on this. That's because when it comes to technical things like this, it is very sometimes very hard to explain to people the exact way you want it to be explained. But this is your task for today. So you are creating one personal profile design. So just like I showed you, but be creative about it. You can try to find more templates, customize it to the way you want it. Put in your name. So um in the design, use the Instagram post, okay, to create it. I've given you the specific here, okay. Now use your name. That's just like we have Juliana Silva. Use your name. Put your role. That's the executive virtual assistant. Then one short line about what you do. So just like what we have, okay, that is a profile. Now, the picture of yourself, make sure it's professional. Like I mentioned, if you don't have a professional picture, take your picture to Google Gemini and ask it to make it professional without changing your face. Okay, it will generate a professional picture for you. Okay, now the design rule starts from one Canva template. Okay, edit the text and the background, then use maximum of 2 fonts. Okay, make it simple and clear. Don't use so many elements in your design. Okay, so unless maybe you have been doing graphics before and then you understand how to walk through the process. Okay, but anything you do now, you're going to keep it for yourself. It's something that you will use in the course of your virtual assistant work. Okay, so do something that is good. Do something that you would appreciate. Now, export it as PNG. Save it with your first name underscore profile. Okay, this is what you should name it. Your first name underscore profile. So if it's Fin, you can say Fin underscore profile. If it's root, you can say root underscore profile. Okay, save it that way. Then send it to the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that will be all for today. So we would have our discussions on the group chat. So this video is only going to be available for those people. It's going to be available on YouTube. So this because everybody needs to put their name that they have watched this video on YouTube. Okay, in the comment section, they are going to put it there. Okay, so this video, everybody should make sure that they put in a comment under this video. You can, of course, your name is going to be showing there. Okay, so make sure in fact this will form your attendance that yes, you actually watched this video. So put in a comment in the YouTube video. I'm going to upload this soon. Now, on any question you have, you can put it there. I'm going to check back and then discuss it on the group chat. Okay, so have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you for listening. Bye.